So the top scheme this time, basically when we are looking at excellence in sports, we are looking at in different time frames. So we are looking at 2020, we are looking at 2024, and we are looking at 2028. 2020 approach is trying to make best of what we have got now. 2024 and 2028 look at a medium and long-term perspective, where there is a huge emphasis on junior development and youth development. We are looking at the how to strengthen at the school level and at the university level, and for the elite athletes, how you can have a system which is at par with the best in the world. 2020 segment will focus on giving the best training and best competition exposure to your best athletes. We have to have a very strong junior development and youth development, for which you will have to have talent identification, and once you identify talent, you need to have a program to develop them. So there is one very ambitious program which is in the pipeline, where every year 1,000 young athletes would be chosen across disciplines, and they will be given an annual scholarship of 5 lakh rupees for 8 consecutive years, provided they meet the benchmarks of how to what level the progression they make. So I think this is for the first time we'll be having a pan-Indian program where you will be giving an opportunity for a talented athlete to have a long-term athlete development plan. So I think this will play an important role in producing the podium finish athletes for 2024 and 2028. We have the Under-17 World Cup. I think the Prime Minister has repeatedly emphasized on how important it can be for child development and youth development, and under that overall initiative we have taken up a Mission 11 Million program, where attempt is to reach out to 15,000 schools across the country and impact 11 million kids. Interest them in football, and also most importantly we are trying to engage with the parents and with the teachers, who are actually the gatekeepers. They don't allow the child to go to the play field, so we are trying to make them more positively disposed. So I think this is a good program. Idea you come up with to have a sports conclave, and I think the sports department would be happy to be a partner, and it can be jointly done. It can be a regular feature, especially because there is sports medicine, there is sports science, there is sports technology, there are numerous economic opportunities. So all this can be discussed, and our potential to even attract foreign investment and even domestic investment is great. 2 to 4% of the GDP can come from the sports. So I think there again you will have to have a very broad base to be able to sustain a strong sports economy.
मेरा सबसे पहला अभी जो इमीडिएट टारगेट है वो है वर्ल्ड चैम्पियनशिप में इंडिया को रिप्रेजेंट करना, और वो मेरे लिए खासकर बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि होगी, क्योंकि अभी मैं 18 साल का हूँ और लंदन में जो इस बार वर्ल्ड चैम्पियनशिप हो रहे हैं, अगर मैं उसमें एक बार खेलूँ तो उस बड़े स्तर पे पैक्ड स्टेडियम, बिल्कुल भरे हुए क्राउड के बीच में खेलने का जो एक एटमॉस्फेयर है, फीलिंग है, वो मेरे को आगे जाके बहुत हेल्प करेगा। 2015 में जब मैंने यूथ कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स में गोल्ड मेडल लिया था और कॉमनवेल्थ रिकॉर्ड तोड़ा था, उसके बाद मेरा TOP स्कीम जो है, टॉप स्कीम, उसमें सिलेक्शन हुआ। टॉप स्कीम यानी कि टारगेट ओलंपिक पोडियम स्कीम जो है वो सरकार के द्वारा एक, मैं मानता हूँ, बहुत ही अच्छी इनिशिएटिव है, जो एथलीट्स और ख़ासकर यंग एथलीट्स को बढ़ावा दे रही है। ओवरसीज़ ट्रेनिंग और इन सब चीज़ों के लिए एथलीट्स को भेजा जाता है और उसमें खर्चा बहुत लगता है। तो ये सब काम जो है ये सब जो खर्चे हैं ये एक एथलीट अकेला अपने बलबूते पे उठा नहीं पाता। तो यहीं पे जो है सरकार वो इंटरफेयर करती है और यहाँ पे जो टॉप स्कीम जैसे स्कीम्स हैं ये हेल्प करती हैं एथलीट्स को। जब मैं पहली बार गया बाहर ट्रेनिंग करने के लिए, वहाँ मैंने देखा कि वहाँ लोग इतनी मेहनत नहीं करते जितनी मेहनत हम करते हैं। और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इंडियन एथलीट सबसे ज़्यादा मेहनत करता है पूरे वर्ल्ड में। लेकिन बस जो कैच पॉइंट है वो ये है कि वो लोग क्वालिटी ट्रेनिंग करते हैं और हम क्वांटिटी ट्रेनिंग करते हैं। यू डोंट गेट बेटर इन जंपिंग हाई इफ़ यू कॉन्स्टेंटली जंप हाई। तो आप हाई जंप सिर्फ करते रहेंगे तो आप हाई जंप में बेहतर नहीं होंगे, आपको बाकी चीज़ों में बेहतर होना पड़ेगा ताकि आप हाई जंप में बेहतर हो। तो ये चीज़ शायद वो हमसे ज़्यादा बेहतर समझते हैं। अगर आप जो कर रहे हैं उसको आप एंजॉय करें, पैशनेट हों उसके बारे में और थोड़ा सा डेडिकेशन लेके आएँ तो फिर आप कोई भी रिजल्ट अचीव कर सकते हैं। आपको बस पैशनेट होना होगा। जो आप कर रहे हैं, आप जितनी भी मेहनत करेंगे आपका वो मेहनत तब तक सफल नहीं आएगी जब तक आप जो कर रहे हैं उससे आप प्यार नहीं करते। मैं यही यंगस्टर्स को कहना चाहूँगा कि अगर आप स्पोर्ट्स कर रहे हैं तो सबसे पहले आप स्पोर्ट्स से प्यार करें। जो आप स्पोर्ट्स कर रहे हैं उसको अच्छे से समझें। अगर हम भी अपने आप को मतलब फोकस्ड और डेडिकेटेड रखें, एट द सेम टाइम हम जो कर रहे हैं उससे ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टेड होएं और उसको एज अ बर्डन नहीं लेंगे तो हम डेफिनेटली अच्छा कर सकते हैं।
The NDA government has constantly shown vehemence in supporting the cause of the differently abled. The coining of the term Divyang by Prime Minister Narendra Modi to highlight the extra power that the differently abled are endowed with stands testimony to it. Having always advocated equality for the differently abled, it came as no surprise when the government earmarked ₹4 crores for the Divyangs in its scheme Khelo India. The potential benefits of sports in the lives of Divyangs are immense. While at psychological level, it leads to improvement of mood state with a reduction of anxiety and depression, an increase of self-esteem and feelings of greater self-efficacy. Sociological benefits comprise new experiences, new friendships and a countering of stigmatization. Their involvement in sport results in improvement of health and in the long term there is a reduced risk of many chronic diseases.
स्पोर्ट्स का मेन मोटिव तो यही होता है हेल्दी वर्ल्ड एंड हेल्दी ह्यूमन बीइंग। तो हेल्थ की मैं समझता हूँ कि दिव्यांग को ज़्यादा ज़रूरत होती है, तो स्पोर्ट्स एबल से ज़्यादा दिव्यांगों के लिए ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है। और मैंने जब से इनके साथ काम किया है तो हमें बहुत अच्छा रिजल्ट मिला और ये बहुत पॉजिटिविटी के साथ काम करते हैं और इनको एक सही रास्ता, सही गाइडेंस की ज़रूरत है। ये बहुत अच्छा कर सकते हैं।
स्पोर्ट्स बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट रोल प्ले करता है, साइकोलॉजिकली हो चाहे आपके फिटनेस के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से हो तो है ही। स्पोर्ट्स का स्लोगन ही है हेल्दी वर्ल्ड। तो स्पोर्ट्स करने से साइकोलॉजिकली तो आप साउंड रहेंगे ही रहेंगे, दैट्स फॉर श्योर, और फिजिकली भी रहेंगे। तो स्पोर्ट्स करने वाला अपने आप ही, आप ये समझ लो कि उनका मोरल कभी डाउन नहीं होगा।
Sport has the power to reduce dependence and develop greater independence by helping individuals to become physically, mentally and financially stronger. At the Paralympics last year, the Divyangs made India proud with their stellar achievements. With greater opportunities promised by Khelo India, they are sure to scale newer heights.
स्टेट लेवल से अगर अब एथलीट्स उठ के आएंगे और उसके बाद स्टेट पार्टिसिपेट करेंगे, नेशनल पार्टिसिपेट करेंगे, तो मेरे हिसाब से तो ये बहुत अच्छी स्कीम है। कॉम्पिटिशन्स तो बिल्कुल श्योर है कि बढ़ेंगे ही।
While the government, by embracing the Divyangs in its scheme for promotion of sport in the country, has truly walked the talk.
बच्चों के मानसिक और शारीरिक विकास में खेलों का अहम योगदान होता है। भारत के प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी के अनुसार बच्चों को स्कूल के स्तर पर ही खेलों में सक्रिय हो जाना चाहिए, जिससे खेलों की दुनिया में वो देश का नाम रोशन कर सकें। इसी सोच को आगे बढ़ाते हुए दिल्ली का मॉडर्न स्कूल शिक्षा के साथ साथ खेलों के विकास में अग्रणी रूप से भाग ले रहा है। ये स्कूल बच्चों के सर्वांगीण विकास की सोच के साथ आगे बढ़ रहा है। पढ़ोगे लिखोगे बनोगे नवाब, खेलोगे कूदोगे होगे खराब, ये कहावत अब पुराने समय की बात है। वर्तमान समय में स्कूल के साथ साथ अभिभावक भी इस बात को समझने लगे हैं कि खेल बच्चों के लिए उतना ही जरूरी है जितना पढ़ाई। अभिभावक बच्चों को सुबह स्कूल लेकर आते हैं और उन्हें हर संभव सुविधा प्रदान करने की कोशिश करते हैं। स्कूल के बच्चे पढ़ाई के साथ साथ खेलकूद में भी हमेशा से ही आगे आते रहे हैं। ये स्कूल लगभग सभी खेलों के लिए आधुनिक स्तर पर बच्चों को दिशा दिखा रहा है। यहाँ पर बास्केटबॉल, टेबल टेनिस, लॉन टेनिस और क्रिकेट जैसे महत्वपूर्ण खेलों के लिए बच्चों को उन्नत सुविधाएं मिल रही हैं।
Last year, total 250 students, they represent Delhi state, national levels and 45 students international level. मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा आपके थ्रू पेरेंट्स को कि बच्चों को मोटिवेट करें अर्ली मॉर्निंग उठने के लिए, उनकी डाइट के ऊपर फोकस करें और उनके खेलने को इनकरेज करें।
यहाँ पर बास्केटबॉल के लिए शानदार कोर्ट हैं, तो टेबल टेनिस और बैडमिंटन के लिए इंडोर स्टेडियम की सुविधा भी। टेनिस के लिए उन्नत कोर्ट के साथ साथ क्रिकेट के लिए 2 मैदान भी उपलब्ध हैं।
मॉडर्न स्कूल में हर गेम का 6:30 से लेके प्रैक्टिस चल रहा है, ट्रेनिंग चल रहा है और इसमें हर गेम में ये आपके सामने टेबल टेनिस चल रहा है जिसको पिंग पोंग भी बोला जाता है। और इसकी खासियत ये है कि हमारे स्कूल से काफ़ी इंटरनेशनल नेशनल प्लेयर निकले हैं। अपने स्कूल की प्रोडक्ट रही है जो आज अपने अपने जगह स्थान में कार्य कर रहे हैं। और अभी आपके सामने जो प्लेयर खेल रहे हैं इसमें नेशनल खेले हुए कई बच्चे हैं जिन्होंने नेशनल स्कूल गेम में भी टाइटल जीता है, नेशनल स्कूल भी खेले हैं और IPSC चैंपियन भी है, जॉन डिस्ट्रिक्ट में भी चैंपियन है। तो वो बच्चे आपके सामने प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं।
खेलों में टेनिस की बात करें तो ये बहुत ही दमखम और ताकत का खेल होता है। यहाँ पर टेनिस के कई कोर्ट हैं जिन पर स्कूल के बच्चे प्रतिदिन अभ्यास करते हैं।
नेशनल इंटरनेशनल प्लेयर निकले होंगे। यहाँ पर विशाल उपल खेलता था जो कि डेविस का प्लेयर है। उसके बाद हमारे और प्लेयर निकले हैं। करण सलमान है जो नेशनल चैंपियन रहा है हमारा। कुशान नाथ राय इंटरनेशनल प्लेयर रहा है वो हमारा ITF का। पार्थ अग्रवाल है नेशनल चैंपियन रहा है हमारा। अभी मेरे बच्चे जो लास्ट अभी 3 बच्चे नेशनल खेल करके आए और हर साल ऐसे नेशनल प्लेयर निकलते हैं।
भारत में यदि ग्रास रूट लेवल पर खेलों को भरपूर बढ़ावा दिया जाए तो वो दिन दूर नहीं जब भारतीय खिलाड़ी विश्व स्तर पर चमकेंगे।
Looks more real.
Time constraint, we'll be forced to button. Please don't.
Looks more real.
Time constraint, we'll be forced to button. Welcome back to the studios. What a day it has been. We had a very auspicious start. Sri Venkaiah Naidu was here along with us and he shared his vision as far as sports is concerned and the government's plans going forward. Any sport, for that matter, is heavily dependent on the media. The people who understand the sport and who convey it to the public, they play a very, very vital role. They make the sport look dramatic. They make us enjoy the sport better. And it can't get better than the 5 people we have in the studio today who are eminent journalists and writers on sport for ages. The combined experience is quite huge. Shikha, if you could please introduce
Absolutely.
them.
I must say that this is a gang who actually brings everything from the fields, from the courts and from the stadiums right at our doorsteps. I am very honored and very excited to welcome our esteemed set of panelists. We have Rahul Banerjee with us. He's sports editor at the Asian Age and Deccan Chronicle. Very warm welcome, Rahul. Next to him, very well known and I shows it a complete package. We have Min Sahab. He's the sports writer, journalist, author, lawyer and everything compiled in oneself. Thank you so much for coming up here. Next to him, we have very pretty Neeru Bhatia. Thank you so much. He's the deputy chief of bureau at the Week magazine. Thank you so much, Neeru, for coming up here. And next to him, we have Shantanu Guhare. He's an award-winning journalist, well-known author, and currently is Indian editor, Central European News, Vienna. Thank you so much. And last in the league, we have Sumitra Ghosh. He's the sports editor at the newspaper of the country and has covered many Olympics, Asian Games, and various events of both national and international importance. Thank you so much, all 5 of you. Let's get up for all the discussion.
Sure. Yes, of course. Let's say the ground rules. I heard the word, but still we have to set it. Time is a constraint, but of course, the idea is to have a critical look at what has happened, what is happening, and what can happen. The five of you, the collective experience, as I already mentioned, you have been there and seen it all. Let me start with you, Rahul. It's a cliche, it's an age-old question, which we ask ourselves every now and then, and still we don't have an answer. What ails Indian sport?
Well, for one thing, we have to realize that in India, sport is not really a pastime as it is in the West. Our essential thing is survival first. Now, it's only of late that we have started to become a slightly prosperous economy, that we actually now have time and money, and we never used to have leisure. So, when you don't have leisure, you're not, your first focus is putting food on the table for your family. It's only of late in the last few years, like I said, that we have started to get the time. So, which is why it has taken so long for, though there has always been a culture of sport in the villages, kabaddi, kho-kho, like your minister said a little while ago, when he was young, he was doing this, that and the other, which has always been there in the villages. In the towns, unfortunately, what's happened now of late, again, we have had this distraction of, video games and things that have taken children away from the playing fields. Playing fields have reduced over the years, parks have made way for buildings and all that. So, until this changes, but then there is always, like I said, there is a move towards change. We are in the process of finding leisure time, and we are seeing the result. I mean, the fact that there are more and more children coming out to play, the number of sports, cricket of course is on its own, but other sports like football, golf, even I play golf occasionally. I see the number of kids who are coming to golf clinics is very impressive. So, there is a change, and hopefully this will continue in the years to come.
So if I may request you to bring it down, filter it down to three. Of course, as he mentioned, there are many, but what could be the three factors that probably we need to set right to put Indian sport on track?
Well, I think we need to prioritize it. I think that's fundamental. It's not just prioritize, I think, in many dimensions. One is obviously from the government point of view, not just in terms of outlay of money, but in the follow-up, in setting up targets, in ensuring that there are deliverables. I think the approach so far has been very namby-pamby. We spend the money, if the results come, we're a fatalistic country, or have been for a long while. As long as we participated, theek hai, nahi mila, but koshish ki humne. I think that mindset needs to change. The other is from the societal angle. I think people who, like us, we are also journalists, we are parents, we are, we've got folks who are kids who are in school. I think we need to encourage them. Like he mentioned earlier that, sports was never seen as more than anything but a pastime. The competitive streak that you need to excel in sports has to be developed very early. You can't ask a 20-year-old.
Absolutely, but do you think, Neeru, as I said, the mindset has to be changed, especially when we talk about a sea change now. Now, it's not only the Bollywood stars who've been looked up, it's the sports stars as well. We see so many biopics are being made, right from the captain, then
ये गाँव के चक्कर में काफी सालों साल में दवा
well accepted by the society as well.
Yes, to some extent, though I still feel that the sports culture that everybody talks.
लोगों को क्या संदेश देना चाहेंगे?
लोगों को संदेश यही
See, I think it's all started when Colonel Rajavardhan Rathore came back with only one medal in the Athens Olympics, and then we came up with a better performance thereafter, with coming up with 3 unprecedented medals, which was our best ever performance in a long time at the Beijing Olympics. And then people started wanting to see more medals, but then medals don't come automatically. There has to be a system, and there has to be planning, and there has to be very meticulous and very selfless. It cannot be ad hoc, which sadly it is at the moment. There is no lack of money or training opportunities that elite athletes get, but then there has to be a proper system, a professional approach to it, which is lacking sorely. So until we get all that sorted out, I don't see us improving at the world level. But having said that, the expectations have grown, the awareness about India doing well on the sporting map of the world has really gone up. You have access to, like you talk about soccer, we're still struggling with improving our soccer, performances. But then the Indian, most of the Indian kids are exposed to the English Premier League or the La Liga, which is like top class soccer. So there is a gap, there is a mismatch.
So we can say
everywhere.
Shanti is actually catching the maximum eyeballs, but the criticism which we are facing, as far as we talk about infrastructure, we talk about opportunity, we talk about scholarship, we talk about facilities. So do you think it's the right criticism which is being posed off?
Well, I think we have been discussing, all this for the last 15-20 years. Indian sports will only improve when the PlayStation to the playground mode will change. We need to encourage people to get into sports and make a career out of it, number one. We must have a sports ministers. We have sports ministers who have no control on BCCI, the world's richest cricket board. I think we have to tell people that sports is also a career. Now all these discussions we have, cricket, we are a cricketing nation, we are a sporting nation, we have been having these discussions. But parents need to tell their children that sports can also be a career. You can make money from that. You can do very well there. I think that's important. Can we drop engineering? Can we drop science and all kind of subjects and push sports there? Let teachers in schools inculcate students that get out of this PlayStation mode and get into the playground.
I think she needs
that's
to add
important.
on.
Just a small point, I'm just supplementing what Shantanu
Sure,
was saying.
Thank
that, today the athlete gets everything once he achieves something. But the
Before
process of
achieving.
starting to achieving that is where the struggle is, the real struggle is, and half his energies and more than that are spent only trying to get to a point where he can achieve something. So there's no dearth of facilities, but sadly
At the right time?
It's not at the right time, it's more after they've achieved. When they get a medal, the state governments will give a lot of money, a lot of they'll give them fancy posts, etc.
They promise a lot of money. Whether they actually get it or not is slightly
the
different.
thing is there is even if somebody like a Sakshi Malik or somebody, if she wins a medal in the Olympics, she gets 50 lakhs, 1 crore, whatever. But that's all afterwards. But what the real effort should be before that.
Absolutely. To take a cue from what Neeru said.
Can I just slightly add a
Sure, please.
You made a very valid point here. The under-17 team is now traveling across the world. They're playing matches.
They're doing pretty well as well.
They're pretty well. There has been some criticism in the papers that they didn't play the Italian national team and all kind of stuff. But let's drop that.
Still is good.
The first goal was scored by a boy whose father is a rickshaw puller, mother is a beedi worker. Can you imagine the kind of dream he has dreamt? From that house, how difficult it is.
Had that courage actually.
Had that courage. That's India, that's sports. From there we need to start.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Neeru did speak about the start that you have to make. Once you become big, everything follows. But till then, it's a very painful journey. It's a very discouraging scenario right now, Soumitra. If I can bring you in, 2 hours are very important here. One is recognition, and the other one is reward. The two of these things have to come your way rather early in your career and your path as a sports person for you to be encouraged properly, isn't it?
There's another side to this, recognition and awards. Today we have a story in our Hindustan Times saying that there's a boy called Rohit Yadav. He has failed a doping test. In May, he won a silver medal in javelin in the Asian meet. He has been stripped of that medal. A couple of days back, there was a similar national athlete who was caught for doping. And there were vials of performance enhancing drugs in his room. So this craze to get recognition, win medals, and the government pays certain amount of money is not going to work. So there has to be a fair assessment of dope control. So it is a socio-economic problem.
Absolutely.
Like, for example, while our parents never forced us to play cricket, football, or any sport, like today we had 7 interns from British school and Serum school. We asked them to write stories. All of them wrote about EPL. Nobody wrote about Aizwal or Neroka. 2 of the brightest football teams in India will probably not get to play the Premier League of India next year. There's a terrible disbalance
Absolutely.
in this
So-
entire system of sport that we have in India.
When we all say it's cricket, but probably can you say over the years cricket has gained it. You have seen 1983 World Cup so closely. Before I ask the question, I would like to relive. Please tell us, share those moments when actually you've seen those World Cups so nearby. How was it feeling, penning down for the nation wherein holding that World Cup?
I think it's a great sense of pride. Even if you are a journalist and you're supposed to remain objective, the fact that India could go and win at the international level and the manner in which we won, because we were completely unfancied. There was no hope in hell that Conclave and his team would have won, and for that matter beaten the West Indies, which was then the best team in the world in the final. But this is the charm and beauty of sport, because you can upset the best. You can beat, the David and Goliath situation.
I'm sorry to interrupt you here. There's a story about it. You would know it's better. Once India was bundled out for 183, the celebrations are started in the West Indian dressing room, and they already had cases of beer being ordered. Is it true, or is it just a story?
I think they were ordered even in the Caribbean, not just at Lord's.
It's all about celebrations.
I can tell you the late and great Richie Benaud was a journalist and a commentator then, and I was running up the stairs to watch the match. I was running a little late, and he was coming down to go for his assignment to some other commentary box. And he said 60-1 I'll give you if India can win this match.
Okay.
Did you take the bet?
No, I didn't take. I never believed that India could win. I said the odds are very good. I can be a fairly rich man if I bet. But I said, nahi. Like a good Indian, I said, 10 rupiya bachao.
So I think that mindset, we the Indians, we don't have the belief, then how can we think about the rest of the world?
To broad base, I think what we've been saying, we are a massive country, we are 130 crore. I don't completely share that we've got all the facilities which we've got in urban centers. We need hub and spoke models. We are getting the rickshaw puller's son or daughter. In the IPL you had a rickshaw driver's son playing. You need hub and spoke models from the Mufassil, from the smallest town. There must be talent searches. You can't have a stadium in every city, every town. You have a hub and spoke model where talent is discovered, nurtured and brought to the hub. And from there, the other part is, and let me just, 130 crore, but actually we keep almost 50% of our population out of sport, which is the women. For societal, social reasons. And actually our women have been the best performing.
Absolutely. If we see, look back in the last
that mindset has to change. And once that happens, the girl child is encouraged to play, who's going to be a sister and a mother later, who will inculcate in the next generation.
I think, that's changing phenomenally as we see the performance last year. It was not even there. It was better.
It's not just last Olympics. If you remember from Kanna Malleshwari, in Sydney, she was a lone medalist over there in Sydney Olympics. PT Usha, who's been the flag bearer of Indian athletics and herself. And then we've had Sakshi Malik, Mary Kom. They've always been flag bearers. So we just need more of that, because like he said, the inculcation of a sporting culture starts from home, and a lot of that imbibing comes from the mother or the parent. But in terms of facilities, what I wanted to say was, it is only at the elite level. If you reach that level of being an elite athlete, and you are part of the national federations, plans at the international level, then you get the training facility. But even then, there is a mismatch of timing. The athlete has to run to get his funding delivered from the Sports Authority of India, or he has to make 10 rounds to the ministry, or he has to make 10 rounds to the federation.
So that means more than talent, more than
rewards. The time wasted is a medal wasted. Absolutely. You cannot sit and do red tape.
He needs to add
and just a small thing. I think I find it very strange in this country that the trigger to success, the success is the trigger for growth in this country. We have to win a World Cup, only then people will get excited and play football. Cricket has given us great success, that's why cricket has gone on a far high. That's why BCCI is the world's richest cricket board. Now the point is, this is also a mad race, that I must win, I must be the number one. The race to the number one is not India seeks. India seeks to be a sporting nation from a cricketing nation. That transformation has already happened. People are getting into different kinds of sports. It is just that the push has to be a little further.
But when you say it's the richest board, BCCI, there was a time in 1983, if you agree, they didn't have money to give to the players.
Yeah,
they organized a concert with Lata Mangeshkar and the money earned.
I fully agree.
They had to go fishing in Brisbane for the
BCCI, Shantanu, I think the BCCI is a classic example of how to manage your affairs superbly, knowing what the environment is.
Absolutely.
When the economy opened up, they were the first movers and aggressive movers in optimizing their opportunities.
So it's a case of putting the market
and then spreading the gospel of cricket. From Kashmir to Kanyakumari, today everybody plays cricket. Punjab, Jharkhand, which was the the domain for hockey. And other sports are now playing
So
cricket.
Rahul,
today.
can we expect the same from the other boards as well?
I mean, just to digress a little bit, to build on what Ayaz and Niru have been talking about, we have all seen the movie Chak De. There is a very telling scene in that film where the captain of the team is, she's been obviously under a lot of pressure. So the coach one day finds her sitting alone. So yes, what's wrong? She says, I have been under immense pressure now from my in-laws to stop playing. He said, but why? He said, look, she's a railways player. I've got my flat in a railway colony in Bombay.
So now
My in-laws now say there is no longer any need for me to. So just building on what Aya said, sport was never a pastime. Sport was always a line for survival. Sport was always a line for, getting above, getting out of what you are. So until that mindset changes, and it's not going to change in a hurry, but then Ayaz made the point, societal change, these things have to happen. And the sad thing is, like you mentioned, our standard bearers in sports, other than the cricket team, are largely women. I mean, PT Usha is, she's changed the
I just
paradigm.
have a small point, Rahul, you made a very valid point.
Please.
My point is, what's my priority? Every year when the Union Finance Minister plants the budget in Parliament, where is sports in that? I look forward to see whether I get SOPs in whatever I'm buying day to day. Do I see that, okay, the sports budget has been tripled and there's a great incentive for students to do and get into sports?
Then how can we expect parents to tell their children that make career?
Parents will have to tell their children. Jharkhand should have taken the lead in hockey when they realized that they have a huge base for hockey. But they didn't. They all looked at Mahendra Singh Dhoni, the god from the east, to grow, and eventually he grew to be the captain. Why do we do that?
Nobody looked at Tundung.
We never looked at Sylvanus Dungdung or the Lakras. Why don't we do that? Who has prevented us? It is our mindset. It is the mindset we need to change. That's it. I mean, otherwise, these things will continue like this, and maybe 3 years later, we will be in the same chair discussing again the same thing.
Absolutely. So it's been on for quite some time. Cricket has taken care of itself, as we all know. We will probably treat that in isolation as we go along. And talking about other sports, there have been inspirational stories in the past from footballers, from hockey players, from tennis players. We will slip into one such inspirational personality, that is none other than the one and only Chuni Goswami. Let's watch this.
Well, I'm lucky. Yes, everybody knows that I won the gold medal in 4th Asian Games in Jakarta in the year 1962. We had a lovely team, as I told you earlier. Balram, P.K. Banerjee, Thangaraj, and Kampea, and Franco, Arun Ghosh. But I must say it was also quite a good achievement in the year 1963-64 when we won the Asian Cup silver medal, and 64 silver medal again in Mardika tournament in Malaysia. And unfortunately at that time PK and Balram was not with me. They have just retired, and I got only from the old bunch Jarnal Singh, who was a tremendous assistance to me and a great strength in the defense. And really it was a great moment for the Indian football team at that time, that in 56 we got the 4th positions in the Olympics in Melbourne, and then 62 gold medal, and then 63 and 64 again 2 silver medals. Now at the present juncture, now at the moment we don't think to go anywhere near 50, within the 50s. Coaching is very important, certainly. Coaches are also important, but I personally believe there should be an interaction between the foreign coaches and the local coaches. And they must make a big base for Indian coaches who knows the temperament, they knows the background of the Indian football player, and at the same time he can have a very clear-cut communication with the Indian players who are not very apt in English language. And language should not be a great problem as such. I know that football itself has its own language. Trap a ball, pass a ball, dribble, it can be understood by any. Well, I have no regrets certainly in football and cricket. With whatever little ability God gave me, I tried to brought out the best out of me. I was always a very hard-working man, I have nobody can say that I didn't work hard. I still work hard on my physical conditioning. But I believe that, well, as far as the Indian conditions, what it was obtaining and prevalent in my period some 30 years back, I could achieve whatever could be, in fact, because we didn't go to World Cup at that time as an amateur team, number one. We were content to play the Olympics and the Asian Games. We did very well, number one in the Asian country for a very long time, and we did very well in the Rome Olympics. And our performance in international level is fairly, very, very good, I must say. So that way I have no regrets, certainly. For all disciplines, I can tell you, you ask Gavaskar, for that matter, you ask anybody, there is no substitute for hard work. And if you are talented, you have to bring out the best through a lot of hard practice.